Hey everybody, happy Friday the 13th. So I'm going to be showing you today, in honor of Friday the 13th, I'm going to be doing 13 spooky book recs. So these are going to be all just different books that I think are fitting in some way for Friday the 13th. I'm going to be showing you all ones that I've read before. So I'm just going to jump right in. This first one right here is the Amulet of Samarkand, Samarkand? Yeah. And this one right here is about a magician who summons a demon, and this is the demon on the cover. He's Bartholomew, and it's called Bartimaeus, not Bartholomew. So it's called the Bartimaeus trilogy, and this is the first book in that trilogy. So basically it's just a spooky book about a demon getting summoned and like the adventures of the demon, and the wizard, because he's there too, because he summoned him, but mostly the demon. And it's a really cool style too, because it's got the what are they called? Annotations at the bottom, and they're all like really funny little like references to different historical events, but they're from like the demon's perspective. So I thought that was really cute. This next one here is Gotham Academy. So this one is a graphic novel, and let's see. It's DC too. So it's got like a really beautiful art style, and it's very dark. So this is from the point of view, the main character is a girl who goes to Gotham Academy, but there's some dark stuff going on at the academy, and also she has a dark past. So it's kind of like going about that. There's, of course, lots of bats in there because of Batman, and there's also, like, spooky monsters that are attacking people. So it's really fun read if you want something a little bit... I'm not much of a thriller person, so I don't really have a lot of thriller recs for you, but just, like, spooky in general. This next one here is actually Skype. So this one is a really great story about characters. There's two characters who are chosen to become the next Skype. So this is like set in the future. And the idea is that people don't die of old age or of anything anymore, because they can just bring them back. So they have a set of people who are assigned to terminate people's lives. And so it's about two people who are apprentices to become the next, or to become a Skype, not the next, because there's not just one of them, there's more than one. It's like a job description of a job that they have to take on. So then this next one here is the Egypt game, and this one is actually middle grade, but I don't know, I think back on it a lot of the times, I feel, or a lot of the time, not a lot of the times. So anyways, this one right here really creeped me out growing up. So it was about, it is about, it's about a group of kids who end up finding like this little area, and they decide to hold like these creepy ceremonies there. And there's like some dark stuff going on, so it's kind of like a middle grade mystery with like some dark like elements, and there's a lot of Egypt references too, because they're pretending to be like Egyptian gods or something, or pretending to worship Egyptian gods. It's a really interesting concept, and there's actually a sequel to it too called The Gypsy Game. Yeah. The next one here is Sweep. So this one is another series, I think. Yeah, so far all the ones I've shown you have been part of series, or the first books in series. And this one right here is about a girl who is a witch, and it's basically about how like dark influences and stuff, and like it's just got a lot of creepy vibes with the witchiness, and there's some romance in it, but not necessarily a positive romance. It's a pretty long series, and I don't think I ever finished the series, but I know this book is pretty thin, so it doesn't really have a whole lot beyond like the creepiness and the like becoming a witch kind of thing. And it gets a lot darker, like it's pretty dark for a witch story. This next one right here is Girls with Sharp Sticks. And this one isn't like the traditional book you would think of when you think spooky, because it is a book that has, it's about girls that go to a private school, This one's tricky because I don't want to like spoil anything, but it's about girls who go to a private school and about how constricted their lives are. And so for me, this one is more, it actually is probably one of the creepiest books that I've ever read. But not for reasons that you might think. Like, it's not about, the reasons why it creeped me out are because of how much the things that happen in this book could happen. Like, the kinds of mindsets that the other characters have. There's a lot of, like, feminist vibes in here, maybe if that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of talk about, like, controlling women in here. And so it's kind of about, like, how these girls are very kept under the thumb of various people. So I thought this one is a really good creepy one if you're looking for something that's more of, like, creepy realism of, like, what could happen to somebody. I mean, there's other elements in it too, but we're just gonna talk about what makes it creepy. So then this next one here is Vampire Kisses. So this one here is actually, I think it might be a middle grade. It's a small, I don't know if you can tell that it's like much smaller than the other books. It's compact, but it is the first book in a series. I still haven't recommended any standalones. I'm looking to see if any of the ones that I've got over there are standalones. But this one is about a girl who meets a boy who she suspects is a vampire. And I don't know if I would call this one really, like, creepy necessarily, except, like, it's just kind of, like, a very gothic book, with, like, the vampire element. So I thought in that regards, it's kind of like a Friday the 13th kind of book. And I just really enjoyed it. This next one here is Illuminate, which is, as I'm sure you already know, the first book in the Illuminate files. This one, I was really torn between recommending this one and the Aurora Rising. I almost called it Aurora Files, and then I was like, no, it's not part of the series. Both of them are very, very creepy, so I think you couldn't go wrong with either one of them, but I wanted to choose one, so I decided to go with Illuminate. And it's creepy because of the kinds of attacks that occur and the kinds of things that are happening. So I should explain, the story is about it's a girl and a boy who are both fleeing. Basically, the idea is that there has been an attack on the area where they're living. It's a biohazard attack where they're using, like, chemical warfare to attack these people. And then they escape, and they are trying to survive, basically. And that's the general idea. It's a space story. I'm sure you already know that, though. I mean, like, it's Aurora. It's Illuminate. Most people know the book. But yes, it's very creepy. There's a lot of scenes that really creeped me out in it. Yeah, and actually, right when I got to a certain scene in that, there was actually a thing that there's a thing in there where it's like, don't look at me. So I work with children, and while I was reading this book, when I got to the part with the don't look at me, the next day when I went to work, one of the kids screamed at me, don't look at me. So I'm sure anyone who's read the book would know why that really creeped me out. Like, I knew it was nothing like that was why the kid was saying it, but it just, I don't know. I just thought that was a funny little story for it. So then this next one here is Hex Wood. Yeah, okay, I had to check to make sure I was right with the title. And Hex Wood is a very weird book, I think is maybe an accurate descriptor for this. It is about a creepy, like, wood. So it's a girl that lives by the woods, but it switches between a couple different points of view, but it also is shifting in time, because the idea is that time's not stable and that time is corrupted by the woods. And so it's going back and forth between time changing for different things for this. So that is a really interesting concept, I thought, and it was really creepy. Like, the woods in general were just really weird and creepy. You know what? Actually, I am going to recommend Aurora Rising anyways, because this one is very, very creepy. It is about a squad of characters, so we've got multiple points of view, and one of them has just been awoken from cryo sleep after, I don't remember, 100 years? 200? 300? I don't know. After a while. Quite a while. Everyone that she knew is dead. So there's that element of creepiness, but also, like, Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman both do a really, I don't know if you should say, like, I mean, it is a great job, but also, like, they both tend to do really creepy stories together. So the kinds of enemies that they're facing are very, very creepy. But there's the question of, is there somebody out to get me kind of thing. And yeah, so that's the creepy element. And then there's, like, a couple of scenes where just, like, the creepiness really goes above and beyond. And then this next one right here is 13 Reasons Why. So I couldn't just not include 13 Reasons Why on a list of 13 books for Friday the 13th. It's creepy because there's a letter that is sent, or not a letter, not an audiobook, you're thinking of the wrong word, a tape. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Like somebody else said it to me. A tape that is sent to this person. And so it's a boy who's the main character, and one of his classmates recently committed suicide. And he receives a tape about where she talks about all the different reasons why she did what she did. And she basically is saying, if you received this tape, then you are one of the reasons why I committed suicide. So I thought that was a kind of a creepy concept, because just picture listening to that. Like, picture being the person who receives these and, like, how creepy that would be. Not to mention there's a couple of scenes where he's, like, riding around in the dark listening to it on his bike. And I'm just like, it really creeped me out when he was doing them. I'm like, the person in me who's just, like, very anti putting yourself in horror scenarios is like, oh my god. But I knew it wasn't a horror book, but at the same time I'm like, please stop, don't ride around in the woods, like, this is a horrible idea, it's dark out, go to home. So then this next one here is, what is it? The Time of the Ghost. I forget the titles of stuff sometimes. Like, I knew it had ghost in it, but anyways. So this one is this is another one by the same author of Hex Wood, which is Diana Wynne Jones, who is one of my favorite authors. And this is about a girl who doesn't know who she is or why she's invisibly floating around through a boarding school. And she encounters some different people, and she's trying to figure out who she is. So I think this one's a really creepy book in the aspect of, like, forgetting who you are, not to mention, like, she's a ghost and stuff like that, and it does have some flashbacks and stuff. This one's not nearly as weird as her other one, but it's definitely, I mean, she's the author of Howl's Moving Castle, or is she the author of Howl's Moving Castle, or is it Castle in the Sky? She's written one of the Miyazaki movies. She wrote the book version of that. And yeah, so if that gives you an idea, like, if you know Miyazaki, you know, like, how weird and out there, like, his movies typically are. In one of his movies, since it was based on one of her books, you can imagine that she is also pretty weird and out there with her books. So there's that. Then this next one here is The Summoning. And this one is about a girl who she is sent to a halfway house because she keeps seeing dead people. And so I don't know if a halfway house is really the right way to describe it, but it basically is a halfway house. So the idea is, like, it's this creepy story where she's trying to figure out if what she believes is real, or if she should believe what the people are telling her, but people are telling her different things. So it's basically just a questioning your own reality kind of book. And this last one to round out the 13 is Three Dark Crowns. And it is a dark story. It's a dark fantasy about three girls who are queens, but the way that their society works is that the queens must compete to the death at one of their birthdays. I don't remember what age they have to reach. I believe it's like 16 or something. But they also are competing for suitors. So then they're trying to decide who they're going to marry. And then when I'm describing this badly. Okay, let's start over. So Three Dark Crowns is about three girls who are born and they're queens. The way this society works is you are considered a queen from the moment you're born, not just a princess. And once you are born, your mother is no longer the queen, and she is banished to leave the island that they live on. And basically, other people, you're split up from your siblings at a certain age, and you are sent to the group that you identify with based off of what your power is supposed to be, which your mother is supposed to know when you're born. So this is a very long description to basically just say it's about three girls who are fighting to the death to see who gets to actually be the queen. Because whenever more than one child is born, they must fight for the death. I think it's typically three that are born, though. I'm pretty sure. But, yeah, the author actually got the idea based off of bees, interestingly enough. I think I might have mentioned that before to you. But, okay, that is all 13. I keep looking over thinking there should be more because usually in my videos I talk about like 20 plus books. So 13 just doesn't feel like quite as many, but there's 13 books. If you're looking for some creepy books to read for Friday the 13th, you could get the ebook and then you'd be able to read it today, or if you've got a bookstore near you. Or you could always just pre-order it because this Friday the 13th is a month before Halloween. So that gives you plenty of opportunity to go and order the books online and get yourself a copy. So I will see you guys next time.